Spirit, take charge over it. Say my heart is yours. Spirit, you rule over it. Say my life is yours. See my life is lost in your soul. Say my heart is yours.
Spirit, you rule over. Hallelujah. You're welcome this morning. Today, I'll be speaking with us on a very, very important topic that we all need to know, that we all need to take cognizance of. And what's that thing? Is one of the things that can cause the fall of a man. And that's why I'm here this morning. Today I'll be speaking on people, the fall of Saul. People, the fall of Saul. Now, when we all know the story of Saul. Guys, I believe you all should know how Saul was anointed and how he messed up and he was dethroned as a king and God anointed David and so on. I know you all know that. But this morning, I just want us to take a very close look at his life. What caused his downfall? What actually caused his downfall? Now, number one thing that caused his downfall, I'll say, is pleasing people. Saul is a kind of ruler, a kind of leader that loves pleasing people more than God. Now let's check this out in 1 Samuel 13 from verse 10. And it says, and it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering, a burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, and that he might salute him. And Samuel said, what hast thou done? And Saul said, behold, I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Now, I want us to take a close look at this. This happened during a battle. And the people of Israel, they were tired, and they needed to make a burnt offering. And as the custom of Israel, you all know that the priest, the prophet, should be the one to carry out this burnt offering. But because Saul was like, look at these people, they might go. Like he wants to please them instead of pleasing God. And so he carried out the priestly assignment of Samuel. And we all know what happened next. And that was the beginning of his fall. Like he ought to please God instead of men, but he was pleasing men above God. Now, the next point I will say is he heeded to the counsel of people. He heeded to the counsel of people. Saul is one of those leaders in the Bible, one of the kings in the Bible, whose ears are deaf to God and open to people. Like it's not as if he don't hear God. He do hear God, but he do listen and hearken to the words of people instead of that of God. Now, I want us to look at this in the book of 1 Samuel 15 verse 3, and then we move to 13 to 15. So it says, now, this is God speaking through Samuel to Saul. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both men and women, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And so gathered the people together and numbered them in Tamar. Now let's move to 13 now. It says, and Samuel said to Saul, and Saul said unto him, blessed be thou, of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowerings of the oxen which I hear? 15 now. And Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people brought, but people spare the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the God thy God, unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, saying, and Samuel said, when thou wert little thy own sight, was thou not made the head of the tribe of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel. And the Lord sent thee on a journey and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners of Amalekites and fight against them until they be consumed. Now we can read further. Now, what's the point here now is he heeded to the voice of people. Now God has instructed him, go to Amalek, and utterly destroy them. Do not take out of there a pin. But because these people were like, it is God that sent us. You can still get things for God here. Meanwhile, God has issued instruction that everything there should be utterly destroyed. But it's a pity he heeded to the counsel of people. So the last one it says, I add there is, let the words of people divine him. Like he agreed to the definition of people of him, about him. Now let's check that out in the book of Samuel 18:6. I believe you all know that when the people of Israel, the women were like, after David had killed Goliath, and people were like, 10,000 unto. Now let's read that. And say, and the women answered one to another as they played and said, Saul hath slain his 1,000, and David is 10,000. Now because of this, he was angry. Like, how could these people divine me this way? And so he agreed to their divination instead of him to divine himself, to try and follow the divination God has divined him, like the divination God has given him. Because the Bible says, I have known you even before you were born. So each and every one of us, we have been divined by God. There is a divination of us from the God perspective that we must key into. And if it is normal that people are going to raise a lot of definitions about us, but the question is, do you have to eat to them? When the creator of the universe has written something about you, why not key into that? Why not take your eyes off or take your ears off what others are saying and just follow that which only God has written? Now that's fine. I'll just admonish us that if you want to escape this fastest device of the enemy, which is people, to bring men down, then you must stop pleasing people. Please God. When you please God, then it is in God that you please people. When you are doing God's will, when you are pleasing Him, then you are pleasing people too. I'm sure you know that people won't reward you at the end, but God will do. Also, heed to the counsels, to the instructions of God. You have the Holy Spirit within you. Heed to the instructions. Don't just listen to people. Just act to the instruction. It might look good. So there is a way that seems straight and that seems right to a man and appears straight, but the end thereof is a way of death. Now, to Saul, that okay, let us take part of those fat oxen, and let us take them and use it as burnt offering. It's a good idea. It's a good advice. But is that what God was saying? No. God asked him to utterly destroy everything, but he didn't do that. So you must heed to God's instructions rather than that of men. Also, don't accept the definition of men, like people's definition of you. Don't accept that. Let's give to God's definition of you. He has known you from your womb. I don't know if you are getting me. It has known you from your womb, even before you were born. It has written your story. You are just here to play it. Now, you need to key into that story that He has written already. Are you blessed already? I pray this blesses you. Now, if you are blessed, it is my prayer that you are blessed. It is my prayer that this blesses you beyond measures. So, I am His voice. I am His voice. I am His voice anytime. Just feel free to tell me more about if this has blessed you. This has blessed you. Till next time, I remain God's servant, His voice.
Spirit, you rule over. See, my will is yours. Spirit, I drown in your will.